I beseech the mighty gods. I am but a poor impassioned wanderer, often more delusional than clever, and at others wiser than I have wits. I have made the sacrifices, carved the implements of our office, and inscribed the cattle cladding with my reed. And so, here is my telling of the celebrations and under which moons they find their place. Also, I posit reasons to unreasonable things that the gods may only know. In this, we are to find the allodium and the König's right, which we now wield well. Before the foundation of Sicambria and the fall of Troy, from whence the princes Priam and Antenor did rule, before even all these things, there was a firstborn ruler hight Tuisco. In such an age, our people were not, princes were not, the unbridled wilderness was not, and nor were the cities. Rome had not attained her glory, for Troy was not. There was not a thing to be but a ruler who walked out of the earthly mound. Under the winter's moon, this ruler, whom I have already named to be Tuisco, it can be understood that he traveled from this earthly mound in the east towards the banks of the Alrhine. It may be that he walked westward, following the Alrhine for many, many moons. Along the way, it is believed that a son was born to him, not as one would have it in our age, but rather born of his sweat which dripped from his form. This son was hight Mano, and Tuisco would rule him. For it should be known that this first Ethnoberenwold is hight the Urgot. Mano is thus hight the Urathel. Now, I should tell you of the things this first prince came to accomplish, and how he came to fall from his father's favor. It happened that the two, in their travels, came to a certain forest. Beyond this forest was a particular marsh hight Saltmarsk, by which rich and fertile soils could be found. At the edge of this marsh, where the reeds grew to the Overhimmeli, there were 12 swannewaif, clad in feathers and girded with iron skirts. They sat by the waters and nurtured their feet with the pale clay. The two others went near, and the maidens readied their arms, some with javelins, some with spetas, and the foremost kriegwaif at their head with a basket filled with bread. This white waif, hight Ludanna, introduced the foremost of her sisters. Sunuksal is most knowing, Exomna is without fear, Hariasa has brokered no fridu, and most of all, I have never known a hunger which could not be satiated or assuaged by the din of war. Tuisco and Mano then readied for war. Their wars are well famed by the poets. Of the Were father, his staff missed no mark. His deeds are recounted so plentifully in songs. At this time of the year, kind words are exchanged, and omens are sought of birds, horses, and by many other such methods. The songs of the Maro Fetari likewise are sung at the feast table. It is said that Ludanna offered Mano bread to sustain his harrying. This is a custom which continues to this day. To Tuisco, Mano offered these cakes, and in return the Ergot gave him golden rings. This is how the war exchange was set in that age, and the two did just the same until mankind saw this, and their lords continued to act as such. Then the one was turned against the other, Mano being heavily weighted in gold. He was most famed in all the Slattofeldo. Tuisco, heavy with bread, but light in gold, complained. His son, swollen with might, had become greedy with his rings. You have to know that, for their favor, he was accustomed to give to the idis magathis solidi, which he had made by breaking down the rings. For this they showed him much favor. However, Tuisco, being destitute, had Wayland forged rings of bronze. These rings were of debased worth. Mano, seeing the debased worth, passed them off to Lludannakuni, and for this they withdrew their favor, and the hero fell to the Ravenfeld. For this reason it can be said that he fell from Himmelrand. Tuisco, in his grief over slaying the younger, grew old in his sorrow at the threshold of the world. He tired from guarding the shrines behind him, and the Idis felled before him. This he could do on account of his divinity. He then lay upon the red-soaked earth, sticking his death-staff hight Wereld Galgo, deep in the pale soil beneath. This is the pillar that Irmin claimed as his own. There is more to that story, but that is in a later age and under another moon. I will say, however, that Irmin stabilized the world by the rod and skybolt. For this reason the pillar is reddened and made glossy of gore, in the hope it continues to return the divine providence. To Lludana and the Idisi, a prayer is recited, for success and plentiful lucre is to them offered, that they always sustain us in our trials, our mothers in their labor, fill our bellies with the joy of sweet breads, and reveal our word. These are the things I know of this moon.